Well, once again, we have our weekly webcast. Ask Chuck. I appreciate very much your participating in this way of making representative government work. I have two statements today that I'm going to comment on rather than two questions that were asked. So I go immediately to Todd of Des Moines from his Facebook made this comment, something that I was involved in last week. Good to hear you're bringing the news about GM paying back their loans to light, because you have this silly situation of General Motors being on television bragging about how they're paying back a $5 to $6 billion loan that they got from the federal government, when quite frankly they're paying it back with bailout money that they have from the federal government in the first place, which I don't see that they're really paying it back if they're using taxpayers' money to pay back a loan. And so I brought light to this, and I was backed up by the Inspector General of the Special Inspector General for TARP funding. And so I think it's a little bit disingenuous for General Motors to be on television bragging about something that you'd think that they sold a lot of cars and they've got a lot of cash and they're paying this money back. They've got some $30 billion of TARP money that they're still using. So I compliment Todd on his feeling about it and thanking me for bringing that to light. There's another thing that I brought to light last week, and Colleen of Kyoto writes from Facebook, thanks for your efforts to expose the Securities and Exchange Commission and some of their top executives using government computers to look at porn. Yeah, we have a situation that's just unexplainable. How even management people can be involved for 8 hours a day over a long period of time observing porn on a government computer. The Inspector General investigated at my request. We have the report out. One person's been fired, presumably another 32 people involved in it. Will they be fired? Some have to be fired for sure. Otherwise, we are not going to have the situation corrected. I believe that heads have to roll, or you're not going to get a change of the nature and the culture of a particular bureaucracy. And probably the Securities and Exchange Commission is only the latest exposure. A year or so ago, we had the same thing happen at the National Institute of Health. So there has to be a restructuring of attitude within our bureaucracies generally, and in this case, the Securities and Exchange Commission. Somebody's got to be on top of what these high-paid workers, because this guy was tremendously high-paid and still violated. So I thank you very much, Colleen, for being on top of that and observing what I've been doing in the way of oversight. I'll end this Ask Chuck webcast by telling you that this week two things are on the agenda. One, the bank regulatory reform piece of legislation, and if we get done with that, or if it's set aside for further compromise, then we'll probably go to the food safety legislation. Thank you very much, and look forward to talking to you on Ask Chuck webcast next week.